All right, so I want to take you through my trading day today, and I just want to keep you guys updated. As I said from my first video, I want to just be really upfront, transparent. As a beginner trader, if you haven't seen my first video, I just talk about how I've really only been trading. I started 3 months, just a little over 3 months ago, as a complete beginner, and I want to share this video because it's really going to help you if you're a beginner trader, if you have been in for a while. I'm not only sharing my teachings or my learnings, I should say, what I've learned as a beginner so far, and just really to help you with mindset. And as you can see here on my screen, this is on my Top Step account. Okay, there's a 50k funded account. Okay, and we've hit the daily loss limit, my daily loss limit that I've set for the day. And we've had loss of about 260 US. So I have locked myself out of this account. I'm going to talk about why. Well, first off, I'm going to show you the trades that I made and where I went wrong and my lessons learned. More importantly, though, the reason why I've done this. First off, what I want to say is, look, I'm sad that obviously I've had a losing day because for my last video, I was talking about how I'm very close to my first payout. That'll probably be somewhere in the title as well. But I was able to take a payout 2 days ago, and it was only going to be a payout of about 100 US. Okay, and I thought to myself, I could take my very first payout ever. Maybe it might help my mentality, but I also thought to myself, I don't want to just take a payout of $100. Like, I want to at least have a payout where my balance is $1,000 and I could take out 500 US because with Top Step it's 50%. Okay, I've had my 5 profitable days. Now I just need a positive balance, and I did have a positive balance at 200. I could have taken out $100, but I didn't want to do that. So I've just tried to build up this balance, and unfortunately, the last couple of days have been losing days, but that's okay. I'm going to be transparent and show you. So if you're not familiar with Top Step, you can set a temporary deactivation. So what this means is that if you go past your loss limit, I set mine to $250 for the day, it'll lock you out for the next trading day. So that's what I did. So let's have a look at my trading account. By the way, these trades were taken on gold, so I'm going to show you my thought process behind it and what ended up transpiring. So I'm on my laptop here. I'm going to try and make this as clear as possible for you. It looks like a bit of a mess at the moment. These are some of the trades I took, I think, yesterday as well, but we want to look at these two here. And I'm going to show you my thought process behind it and where I went wrong. Okay, so first off, as you can see here, I'm going to be completely transparent with this always. I've had this Express account, this funded account for over a month now. I think it's been like a month and a half. And it's taken me a long time because when I first started this account, when I started building this up, I went straight into drawdown on this. It was like $1,000 or $1,500, and the max loss is negative 2,000. So I had to climb out of drawdown, and that's how I got my profitable days. I'm going to move this over here. And at the moment, we're sitting at negative $224. So let me show you, before we go into the trades, what this was looking like. By the way, my win percentage is at like 20%. Okay, and look, a lot about what I talk about in this video, it might be weird, it might be wrong. If you're someone who's a more experienced trader than me, I'm just learning as I go, and look, what I've learned so far, I am way, way further ahead than what I was a month ago, 2 months ago, especially 3 months ago. So I am happy with that. Now, my equity curve, as you can see here, it was down $1,200. So I started this straight from drawdown. I had to climb out of drawdown, and this is how I got my profitable days. So my equity curve, you can see it's slowly going up. So we went from negative 1,200. This was huge, where I went from this to negative 300. That they were a couple of profitable days here. I went to a balance of $16, so I got out of drawdown, went back down, dipped down a little bit further. I stayed around here for a while. I think this was around, this is around the Christmas period, so there was no trading here. This was middle of December. Dipped down a little bit, and then I went back, and this has been my highest account balance on this so far, so $200, and now we've dropped down to negative 220, which I'm okay with because I've set my daily loss limit. So what I used to do, and this can help you with your mentality in trading as well, and just trying not to tilt. I didn't used to have a loss limit. At least my loss limit used to be like $500 a day or $600 a day. And with a 2K account, if your maximum limit, like maximum loss limit is 2,000, that only gives you like 3 days, 4 days of losing days, and your account's blown. So I thought to myself, if I give myself a $250 a day maximum drawdown, then I'm at least looking at anywhere from like 6, 7 days, like consecutive losses, losing days until I blow my account. And it's actually really hard to do that if you're following your plan. So that's just where I'm at right now. Okay. Now, if you didn't see my last video, I want to just talk about, uh, my 5 profitable days, and then we'll get into the trades and lessons I learned. So from here, and look, this might be a bit slow, okay, but I'm okay with this because I'm still learning. As I said, we started in drawdown. That was my first profitable day. With Top Step, you need 5 days of $150 or more in profit. So that was day one, okay, and then December 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then we started off this year good, or last Friday it is, so it's Wednesday. So on the 2nd of Jan 2026, $402. This is when I was at about $200, just over $200 positive, and I was just wanted to build up the balance more, and I still want to. I at least want to build it up to $1,000 before I take out my first payout. And some people might think, why don't you just take the payout? I want it to mean something really special to me, and I want to show myself that I can build a balance of that, especially as a beginner trader. And that first payout, even if it's like $400 or $500 US, it's going to be monumental for me. Okay. Now, stuff like this is okay. My problem was earlier on in my trading journey, was that I would just tilt like crazy. And it's funny because I've handled money like bigger amounts of money than this before. I've been paid bigger amounts of money than this before, because I'm a business owner as well. And you can check out more of my story in my first video as well. I'll talk a little bit more about that. But trading, it's funny because it brings everything to the surface. And this basically, like, I used to just tilt on things like this. So setting a daily loss limit for me is super important. And I set it at $250 because if your daily loss limit is $2,000, then setting it around $200 to $250 is a good point, because it's like 10% just over on the account. And that gives you a lot of leeway. And that also forces me to take less trades and to risk less. I'm not risking $250 per trade. I'm risking like $100 a trade, maybe $150 per trade. So that gives me 2 to 3 trades per day. And if they're losses, it just locks me out. Okay. So I've got that. I've also got a trading combine as well. I'll just show you this as well. The balance is a little over $300 on that. It was up at around 700, but again, because this is a follower account, it's copying the same trades over. So it's still positive balance, which I'm happy with, but I set that one to 200 a day. I might change that to 250 as well, but we'll see. So let's have a look at these trades, and I'll show you my thought process behind it and where I went wrong. So these trades, as I said, were taken on gold. Now, I won't talk about the strategy because I don't think I'm qualified to talk about the strategy. This is a little bit messy, so I might just take this off. So on gold here, my thought process around this is obviously we had a no close plus a sweep here, and this is almost like a double confirmation here, and this is on the 1 hour. Okay. Now, to me, at the moment, gold is bullish, right? And we're heading up towards this here, which will be on the high time frame, an internal protected high. Okay, so basically a couple of things can happen from here. Because we were on the upside, we had a gap that formed yesterday. Okay, and because we're on the upside, what I'm thinking is going to happen is it's going to get to this internal protected high, and it will either push through, or it will basically respect that, and it will go back down towards this gap. That's my thought process behind this. Okay, so what my thought process was here for today's trading was that obviously we're still bullish, okay, and we go to the 5 minute, and I always execute on the 5 minute. My idea was that, again, we are in a bit of a range, so that was one thing that I did wrong today. But, and when I say wrong, I mean that I want to try and stay away from trading in ranges, and I'd rather trade in trending conditions, where what I mean by that is if we are moving upwards like this, it's much easier to tell where it's going. Where in a range, we're in the same spot for like 10 hours. Really, I shouldn't have touched the charts up until this point. But my thought process was, hey, look, we are putting in higher highs here, and we had this no close plus a sweep here. And I first got in around here, which, looking back, it's a stupid trade. Okay, and that was the first loss that I had. But then I thought, hey, look, we've got this internal protected low here, this internal protected low here, and my idea and my thought process behind this trading is once it sweeps this, considering that my bias is bullish and we're heading up to this, I marked it out here, the internal protected high I mentioned earlier, we are going up to this point. Now, I wanted to just target the initial, and this would be a weak high in my opinion, I wanted to target the initial weak high. So what I've done here is I entered, so I had that first loss, which I shouldn't have taken at all. That was probably the dumbest trade today. Looking back on it, wasn't a trade I should have taken, but this one here was actually better, and this is the one I've got marked out. So I initially entered in just around here, okay? And on the 5-minute time frame, we had the rejection candle, so we actually had a double confirmation. So we had a double confirmation, a sweep here, and then we had a sweep here, and I entered in here. So my bias was right. The only problem though is that something I've noticed with gold is that we've got to be mindful when we're in a range. And I should have just waited a little bit longer, because what ended up happening was we had that double confirmation, okay, and then we had a huge wick down, and this huge wick down is what took me out. So it could be a couple of things. I could have just waited. I could have had a bigger stop loss, okay, and I could have potentially risked less, because I went in, and this is micro gold, I went in with 2 contracts. I could have went in with 1, so I could have had more room to play with, but I ended up getting stopped out. And after this, that was when the daily loss limit happened. I got locked out of my account, and I thought to myself, I just need to get off the charts, because I had the losing day yesterday, and then I had a losing day today. This is a perfect time to just get off the charts. I went for a walk, good hour-long walk, and I'll get into a bit more about the mindset as well, but like just around losing days as well, because this will help you navigate them, and I'll talk about what works for me. But when I had that loss, I thought, look, I just got off the charts. I marked it out anyway, and then I just went for a walk. When I came back, I saw that it had basically gone to exactly the weak high that I'd mentioned. And look, for some people that might be tilting. Some people struggle with this because they get bad beat and it wicks down, takes them out, and then goes to take profit. I actually get less affected by that. I get more affected when my complete bias is wrong, because then that to me tells me, well, there's something wrong with my analysis, and it's almost like I didn't have a chance to get a win. This tells me, hey, look, my bias was right. I just need a few tweaks, right? And that really helps with my mentality on this. And I just thought, now that we hit the daily loss limit, I'm locked out until tomorrow. Hey, look, my bias was right. And it's actually heading towards, like, I could also have targeted here, because it's also heading towards this internal protected high as well. So I could have targeted that as well. The highest sort of chance play here would have been this here, right? And it would have played out, and that would have been probably around about 450 US I would have made from this trade. But that's just how it works, right? That's just how it happens sometimes, and that's okay. Learning lesson. I'm just adding this to my plan and my data, right? And just taking note of it. And you can't be too mad at this, okay? So as I said, I'm not going to go too much into strategy, because I don't think I'm really qualified to talk about strategy. All that I'm going to say here is that the way that I like to trade is in trending conditions. Gold has been good for me. I like to trade futures as of late, so futures as in gold, and more so the NASDAQ, micro NASDAQ, so MNQ. And it's been working for me. That's where I've gotten my wins, and that's what I like to trade, right? So this is done, obviously, one thing I didn't talk about is it's done in the Asia session. So for me, I'm in Queensland, Australia. Asia session opens up at 9 a.m. for me, and that was done in the Asia session. Most of my trades are really done in the Asia session and London session, and London session opens up at 6 p.m. for me. I don't usually like to do New York session because it opens up at 10 p.m. and then by the time anything happens, it's too late for me. So Asia and New York seem to work well for me, but my overall bias is right. The way I like to trade is in trending conditions. One lesson also that I learned here is that try not to trade in a range. This is still in a range, and I shouldn't be touching this. Yes, it did work out, but I would be more favorable to trade in trending conditions where it is clearly got a clear bias of going up. So see how it's moving now? This to me makes more sense, okay? When the price really hasn't moved anywhere in the last 10 hours, I shouldn't really be trying to force anything, okay? But the main lesson here is just to, my bias was right. Give it a bit more room. If I waited until this wick down and I got in maybe in this candle here, it would have been fine, Okay, but that's just how it happens. Like I could have got in here, set my stop loss down here, and it still would have been a 2.41, 2.4 risk to reward, and it would have worked out. But that's just how it works, and that's okay. So one thing I really want to mention here, okay, and go on the screen here. One thing I want to mention is that when it comes to your mentality and following your plan, you're your own biggest enemy here. You're your own worst enemy. And how I think about losing days now and how I deal with them, especially since I'm so close. Like I have my 5 profitable trading days. All I need to do is get a positive balance, and I want it more than $200. If I can get even to $500 positive balance, I'll maybe take out a payout of $250 US, right? Even though I'm so close to this, I got to think, look at my equity curve, look at the progress that I've made out of drawdown. I need to have like 7 losing days to lose this account, and that's not likely at all. Like I think the most losing days I've had in a row is 3, maybe 4. And if I just stick to my plan and I trade in good conditions that I've got laid out in my plan, then it's like I've put myself in a winning position. Okay. And I actually went from a trade win percentage of 20% to 30% just by fixing this and taking less trades. Okay. So I only take a maximum of 3 trades per day now, right? So less is more when it comes to this. Now, again, how I deal with losing days, especially when you're making really good progress, and if you haven't had your first payout yet, or if you want your next payout, and you really need the money, you really want the money, don't think about it like that. The way I deal with losing trading days is, hey, look, there was something wrong either with your analysis or the way that you were thinking. Okay, today I was thinking in the sense of I wanted to have that setup. I wanted to force the setup. And even though I don't really like trading in ranges, I saw to myself, it's almost like I forced myself to see an opportunity when the markets were a bit harder to read. And what I've seen from my best trades and my best trading days and my best even winning streaks is that it's super easy when the market conditions are easy to read, right? And I just need to wait for those good market conditions to arise again. So that's the lessons I really learnt today, and I got to reinforce myself, especially coming into 2026. If I want to get consistent payouts, if I want to compound these accounts and grow, I need to stick to my plan. Okay, your plan might be completely different to mine, but if you've had a losing day, especially if you've had a couple of losing days or a few losing days, or if you've been, if you've gotten your P&L up, pretty high and then it's come down to break even, don't worry about that. The best thing you can do is just continue sticking to your plan. So if you've had a losing day and you thought to yourself, I've made all this progress and it's lost again, like I'm not making any progress at all, don't think like that. Just think, hey, what can I learn from this? And also another thing that I want to mention is just to get off the charts. What I used to do when I used to go on full tilt was, like when I first started, was that I'd take trade after trade after trade. I wouldn't have a daily loss limit and I would just blow my account. Right? And I did that with my first 50K funded account within my first month of trading. I got a 50K funded account with Funded X, blew it within 24 hours. And it's because I didn't have any rules set in place. Now I have strict risk management and I just follow that plan. Like I physically can't trade anymore on this account today until tomorrow. That gives me a chance to cool off, get off the charts, reevaluate, and just take in the data. So these trades that I made today, I'm just going to take this data in and learn from it. So I just want to document this. I don't want to ramble on too much longer, but I'm so close. I'm on the cusp of my first payout, and I'm not going to let a couple of losing trading days take away from that, because you look at this and my win percentage has gone up 10%. My equity curve is still going up, right? And that's just going to have days like that. So I'm going to keep documenting this. I will try, I don't know if I'll do daily, like just do each and every day, but if I've learnt lessons, whether it's wins or losses, I will continue taking you guys on the ride with me. And look, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've learned something. And really, I guess if you could take one thing away from this video and my trading day today, is to stick with your plan and just follow, set goals for yourself and be really strict on risk management. I think the biggest thing for me isn't even my win rate increasing, it's being super strict on my risk management, because it's usually never the system or the strategy, it is your own mentality. Okay, so now I have secured the fact that I will not go into any more drawdown today than what I have now, because I physically can't. right? And that is important. Most of the work when it comes to trading, what I found, even though I'm completely new to this, I'm only 3 months or so in, most of the work comes from off the charts. It's not on the charts. It's your mentality. It's how you deal with the losses. It's how you deal with the wins as well. And I'm learning that more and more every day. Okay, so I hope this video helped. I will keep you guys updated on how I'm going. Hopefully soon I will be posting a video um, with my first payout. That's the goal on this channel. I'd just love to show you that and just show you that even someone who's completely new to this can just continue growing relatively quickly, and you don't have to wait a year or two to make this work. Like that's my goal, is just to prove to myself, prove to you guys that you can make this work. And yeah, just gonna show you guys and we'll bring you guys along for the ride. Yeah, hope you guys are having a wonderful day and night wherever you're watching. Stay safe. I'll see you in the next one.